You're listening to the Multifamily Market Watch for Washington State. Apartment owners who need to know, trust HFO. The leading source for multifamily industry news around the state, from Puget Sound to the Tri-Cities.
Welcome back to Multifamily Market Watch for Washington State. I'm your host, Aaron Kirk Douglas, broker with HFO Investment Real Estate, and here are today's guests.
I'm Rochelle Gandour-Rood, Water Program Specialist for Community Engagement and Conservation with Tacoma Water.
And I am Sarah Bowles with Tacoma Power Conservation Department.
Thank you so much for joining me today. First off, I'm going to ask a water question. Are multifamily projects considered commercial for smart yard irrigation and that type of thing?
Yes, absolutely. So multifamily properties qualify for our commercial and multifamily rebate, which is up to $500 on an irrigation controller.
And is that on, when we're going through this, I would like to know, because I just had a developer ask me this today, are these incentives available on just new properties on existing properties, or are they also available when you're building a new property?
They're available for all purchases of smart irrigation controllers. So WaterSense labeled weather-based irrigation controllers all qualify for our rebate.
Okay. And for water and electrical projects, rebates and whatnot, do the owners need to hire a contractor pre-approved by your program?
Not for the water program. I'll let Sarah answer for power.
So yes, we do have a trade ally list, and these contractors have signed agreements with us and have been trained in our program processes and paperwork, along with all the install specifications that they need to follow in order to get the rebate.
Okay. Now, for some of these things, I know in the past, for example, on residential properties, you could get low flow water inserts for sinks or showers or that kind of thing. Are those still available? Are those kinds of things available for multifamily projects, or what do you have?
Yeah, absolutely. Those shower heads and sink aerators are still available for multifamily property owners. It just requires a tour of the facility for me to look at up to 10% of the units to sort of see what's in place now. And if what we have to offer is more efficient than what's installed, then we give shower heads and sink aerators for free. Okay.
And that's for the entire property. And then do you have somebody, or do you come back and check to make sure they're actually installed, or are you just looking at their water bill?
We have the someone who is able to sign for the property, sign an agreement saying they will install those items at the property. And then I do look at the water bills as they continue on through the next year or two to see if we see a reduction in water use on the bill.
Okay. And what are some major sources of leaks that multifamily owners should be aware of? Do you know of any?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked, because the thing I always like to mention to multifamily owners is toilets. Toilets can leak more than 100 gallons an hour if a flapper is faulty. And so if you have a building full of faulty flappers, say that 5 times fast,
right?
Then you can be wasting hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water, and they can be silent leaks. So you might not even know about it. So having your tenants be willing and quick to report toilet leaks to you can be a huge savings for your water bill. And for your wastewater bill.
Well, and for the tenants' water bills, because a lot of those tenants are billed back for the utilities at a certain percentage of the rate. Do you offer any kind of toilet flappers?
We don't offer toilet flappers right now, no.
Because those things, I know when I've been to the hardware store, those aren't cheap. Okay. And now let's turn to electricity for a minute. Is multifamily housing considered a business for energy consumption?
Short answer is no, but it depends on who you're talking to. When it comes to conservation and you're talking to somebody like Bonneville Power Administration, they have different definitions of what is multifamily and what is single family. And when we're talking about Tacoma Power, when we are talking about residential and or multifamily, it could be considered commercial.
Okay.
Currently, we just launched a income qualified rental program, and one of the requirements is the tenant needs to be low to moderate income, and the utility account needs to be in their name.
Okay.
Because the name of the game of this particular program is to lower the utility lower the utility bill for the tenant. And if the tenant doesn't actually possess an account and is responsible for account, then we can't prove that we are providing any sort of savings for that tenant.
Okay. If a rental owner has tenants who would meet that qualification, is there a way that tenants or management companies could inform their renters about this program?
Yeah. Okay. So this program just launched about, hold on, let me check my watch, 28 days ago.
Oh, okay.
And so far we have done outreach at different resource fairs where they were located on the east side of Tacoma, where there's a high population of renters, so that we are in conversation with some renters and letting them know that there is a program out there to help them lower their utility bill.
Okay.
In addition to working with some of our local housing agencies and reaching out to some of their rental property owners and promoting the program as well. We will be having, of course, a place on the website where people who are interested in this program or have heard from word of mouth about some sort of rental program, they'll be able to go and check out more information on our website. In addition, we have also trained all those trade allies about the new program. So as they are out in the field giving people bids and they say, hey, I'm a renter, I have high utility bills, they can say, yep, we have a program for that. And also reverse that if they run into some sort of rental property owner who has multiple single family units, they can also inform them about the program and get them connected with me.
Does that program have a specific catchy name yet, or
the IQRP, the Income Qualified Rental Program?
Oh, the IQRP.
The IQRP.
I will remember that.
We definitely chose to use a name that was very descriptive and clear when you read the name and you're like, okay, Income Qualified Rental Program.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little about your service area, and do people just sort of know whether they're in your service area, or are there some people who get confused about that, or do you have overlap? I mean,
people definitely, some people know their service area and some people don't. And I think one of the things that is admittedly confusing about Tacoma Public Utilities is that Tacoma Water and Tacoma Power don't have the same service area. So while we both overlap on the city of Tacoma, Tacoma Water tends to serve more communities to the north and east of the county, and Tacoma Power I'll let Sarah talk.
Yeah, so then the Tacoma Power territory is more, we kind of have a break in JBLM. JBLM has their own account. We work all the way up to JBLM, skip JBLM, and then we're going further south into Roy. And then fun fact, there are 11 electric utilities in our service territory. So we do share that. And we have funny little pockets of areas that are not our service territory. And so it can be very confusing because your neighbor on one side of the street can be a Tacoma Power customer and then you be some other utility.
Do you share, this is just a random question I've always wondered. When you have something like that, do you share the same utility lines or do you have separate utility lines?
Oh, that is a very good question. And you're lucky I went to school for this kind of stuff. So now we're talking transmission and distribution. And yes, everybody does pretty much kind of share those same lines. They kind of have to, or else we'll be having two.
15 lines down the same street with people on either side of the street with different power companies. Okay. All right. Can you talk about incentives for property owners with 5 or more units and whether you have any differences in the low rise versus the high rise properties?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that. I would also love to give like a quick introduction of how we determine what's what.
Okay.
So what we call single family would be obviously single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, up to quadplexes. Okay. So that's what we call single family. And then what we call multifamily is anything in a building, 5 units or more in a building. Low rise would be 3 stories or less, and high rise is obviously 4 stories and up. And we do have very different incentives structures for both high rise and low rise. For insulation on the low rise, we pay 80 cents a square foot of insulation that we upgrade. For the high rise, it's $1.50 a square foot. When we're replacing single pane windows, we will pay $12 a square foot for the low rise. And then when I say square foot, I'm talking about square feet of glass replaced. Okay. Not the square footage of the home, but the square footage of the glass that we are replacing.
And this is all on existing buildings, or would you do any incentives for new construction?
We do have some incentives for new construction, but I am not as familiar with those.
Okay.
Those are definitely taken care of up in the business conservation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Can you talk about common area lighting examples like parking lots, hallways, and shared spaces? Do you have any goodies for that?
We do have lighting rebates available for multifamily properties. And it would be, yes, replacing things like the common area lighting with LEDs. And it's basically a custom project. So I can't give you any sort of quotes on prices or anything like that. But we do have rebates available for common area lighting on large multifamily properties.
Okay. Can you talk a little more about the IQRP project and how it came about, and the split incentive that you have here?
The split incentive. Yes, I would love to talk more about that. So first, let's define what a split incentive is. This is definitely some jargon that we use in the industry. And it is where a rental property owner is responsible for financing upgrades in a home to reduce a utility bill, which would benefit the tenant, right? Because the tenant is responsible for it. So it is a split incentive. Rental property owners are expected to make this investment and have no sort of immediate benefit to their investment. Now, I could go deeper into that and say it's an investment to retaining your tenants and putting value into your home, depending on what kind of measures you're upgrading. But that is what the split incentive is. And this has been an issue, you could say. I don't want to say issue. That's a little bit strong. But this has been something that has been a challenge for the utilities for 30 years. Before I've even thought about working in this industry, it's been a problem. And so recently, Tacoma Power Conservation decided to do an equity lens on our programs and see if we were equitably serving all of our customers.
Sure.
And what we found is that our renters were not being equitably served. And 45% of Tacoma Power customers are renters. So we decided to tackle this 30-year problem and come up with some sort of really, really great incentive that rental property owners wouldn't say no to. And so we did a lot of outreach with rental property owners, property managers, housing authorities, those kind of things, to find out what kind of incentives would motivate a rental property owner to upgrade their homes to be more energy efficient and not have any sort of immediate benefit. One of the number one things was zero out-of-pocket cost. That's all they wanted to do, is be able to take care of the project. They didn't care about making payments. They just didn't want any out-of-pocket cost at the time of install.
Okay. And can we talk a little about HVAC systems? Because with climate change, and I know you're all trying to save energy because of us living in an increasingly warm world, and people want to stay cool. Are these contributing to helping save energy to deal with that? Or, and I know in some states they're now requiring that there be at least one cooling, what do you call it?
System, basically.
Yeah. I know in some states they're requiring that at least one cooling system be in a room. So in a bedroom or wherever it is, there has to be at least one air conditioning unit. Do you offer any kind of incentive for that type of thing?
Yeah, I think there was a couple questions in there. So we do. So
they were rambly questions.
Right. So central heat pumps, ductless heat pumps, do they help conserve energy? Heck yes. They are terrific at saving energy. Now, the bigger thing with climate change, Tacoma Power is 97% clean energy. So we have, what is the math on that? 3% that we can make cleaner. So when it comes to Tacoma Power and their support of heat pump technology, it's really about conservation.
Right.
And reducing the use overall. And we do have I-937 where we are required to reduce overall electrical consumption by a certain percentage at a certain time frame. And so ductless heat pumps and central heat pumps have been a big driver in that. But it's really the building as a whole. You can't just throw in a new heat pump and not address things like insulation, which would help maintain and retain the heating or cooling that you put into that home. So as for rebates, we got a rebate for that. That is definitely something that we have. We have central heat pump rebates where it's $1,000 if you just want to put in a system and submit for a rebate afterwards. We have a 0% interest loan for 7 years if you want to pull a loan out with Tacoma Power and install a central heat pump, a ductless heat pump, insulation, windows. If you own your home and you're interested in any of these programs, we have a deferred loan for them where, again, we can upgrade your systems, your heating systems, if you are electrically heated, to a central heat pump or a ductless heat pump. And then we defer any payments until you sell your house.
Wow.
And we do have...
Yeah.
And we have ductless and central heat pump.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. We have the income qualified rental program, which we do also offer rebates for, or rebates, I should say, more of a forgivable loan for the rental property owners where they can install efficient heating, windows, and insulation. And it's forgiven so long as they maintain affordable rent for the term of the forgivable loan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as all of these mini water programs that we have, is there a phone number that people should call if they have more questions about these incentives?
I would love to send folks to our website first, which is mytpu.org/watersmart. But if they want to call me, that's 253-502-8723. And they'll reach either me or one of the members of our conservation team at Water, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Can you give that website one more time?
Sure. The website is mytpu.org/watersmart.
Okay.
And the phone number 253-502-8723. That's the Tacoma Water Conservation Line.
Okay. So was there anything we didn't touch on the power side that we should also make people aware of?
So I suppose what I would start with is that, for Tacoma Power and the programs that they offer, the name of the game is saving electricity. So some of the first requirements we have is that you got to be a Tacoma Power customer. You got to be electrically heated. The measures need to be below a certain level to qualify to get upgraded. For example, they got to be single pane windows or double pane metal frame because we have energy savings to be captured there. A lot of utilities do have these sort of programs. For example, PSE has their own conservation program for gas. Okay, so as we help electrically heated homes, PSE in tandem throughout our territory as well have programs for their gas heated homes that they serve.
And where should people go to find out more about this? And if they have questions, how do they reach someone?
So I definitely have to echo Rochelle. mytpu.org, Ways to Save, is definitely where you want to start if you're looking into some sort of conservation program. We have conservation programs for businesses and we have conservation programs for residential. So you can also find that information on the website. And the new income qualified rental program is going to have a new landing page under the business section. So check that out in a week or two. If you're looking for a phone number to call into the residential department, it is 253-502-8363. And there you can get a hold of one of our administrative assistants and ask any questions you have about any number of the programs we have and kind of pre-qualify yourself for any of them.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Sarah and Rochelle from Tacoma Public Utilities. And we'll see you next time.
Our entire office specializes in multifamily real estate, making HFO the largest multifamily brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. Your success is our passion. Build your legacy with HFO. Call 206-705-5115 or visit our website at hfore.com for more information. HFO is an affiliate of the Global Real Estate Advisor Network.